music slowed and the band took a pause. Bride stood smiling, waiting for applause. She turned her back with flowers in her hand, said, "Y'all ready like a country band?" Ladies lined up, hearts beating fast, thinking one good catch might find love at last. Shotgun bouquet flying through the air, dreams of romance turning into despair. Cousins and sisters all jumped in the fray. Somebody's black eye from a shotgun bouquet. Oh, love hurts more than words can say when you're caught in the crossfire of a shotgun bouquet. It landed short and the crowd went wild. Two bridesmaids wrestling like country style. One heel snapped, the other hit the floor. Great Aunt Sally got knocked out the door. The preacher ducked, the fiddler cried, "Lord Almighty, hope no one died." Shotgun bouquet, petals hitting ground, voices screaming, chaos all around. Elbows flying, hairpin spray, blood and perfume in a shotgun bouquet. Oh, not the kind of love song you play when the bride lets loose a shotgun bouquet. The weddings ain't perfect, that's understood, but no one thought flowers could do so much good or bad, depending which side you're on, when a simple toss turns into a brawl gone wrong. Bride just laughed with tears in her eyes. Groom shook his head, whispering, "No surprise." The bouquet shredded, but the story lives on, like a country tale in a honky-tonk song. Oh, bride just laughed with tears in her eyes. Groom shook his head, whispering, "No surprise." The bouquet shredded, but the story lives on, like a country tale in a honky-tonk song. Bride just laughed with tears in her eyes, grew away. One forever gets tangled in a shotgun bouquet. So if you're standing there hoping for fate, keep one eye open when she starts to throw straight, 'cause happily ever after might come your way, or a broken nose from a shotgun bouquet. Sun was shining, church bell rang, bride stood waiting with her wedding gang. Preacher opened up the good old book, said, "Dearly beloved, let's take a look." The bride, when he said, "Do you take this bride?" the back door slammed and we all turned wide-eyed, 'cause Granny's gone and swat the broom. Hit the doors open, clear the room. "Yo, this boy ain't ready, don't you tie him down." She dragged him out in her wedding gown, roared above with a hillbilly boom. Granny's gone and swat the broom. She threw her cane like a shotgun blast, told the bride's mama, "Girl, step back fast." The bridesmaids fainted, the fiddler quit. Uncle Joe hollered, "I ain't believing it." The groom looked stunned with his tie half loose. Granny pulled him in her Cadillac coupe. Yeah, Granny's gone and swiped the broom, left behind perfume and broken loom. Bouquet wilts, vows undone. The bride cried out, "That's my someone." Now the whole town's buzzing like a banjo too, 'cause Granny's gone and swiped the broom. They say love's blind, but family's worse, when Granny's willing to steal your first. 1 minute a wedding, the next a chase. Moonshine laughing at the whole disgrace. Now every wedding down in our town square, folks check the pews to see if Granny's there. The preacher locks the chapel door and hides the brooms near the back dance floor. No one forgets the fateful day when Grandma took the groove away. Granny's gone and swiped the groom, left the bride crying in a lace and bloom. The ring got dropped, the vows went bust, and Granny sped off in a cloud of dust. Oh, heartbreak hit like a fiddle out of tune when Granny's gone and swiped the groom. So if you're planning to tie the knot soon, you better pray Granny don't swipe your groom. If you're planning to tie the knot soon, you better pray Granny don't swipe your groom. The vows were short, the rings got swapped, the preacher left the party pop. The cakes rolled out, the grill got hot, we all lined up for beer and rats. But Uncle Ray said something wrong, then Cousin Joe came swinging strong. Before the band could play the tune, a fist flew under the harvest moon. Beer, brats, and broken hearts tore that reception clean apart. Tables flipped and bottles flew, the bride cried out, "What'd y'all do?" Love was lost before the night could start, with beer, brats, and broken hearts. Grandma ducked as the chairs went flying. Best man bled but kept on trying. Someone's dog stole the wedding cake. The fiddler ran for heaven's sake. Bridesmaid tripped on her high-heel shoe, knocked the DJ into the stew. By the time the sheriff hit the scene, the honeymoon was just a dream. Beer, brats, and broken hearts flew that wedding right off the charts. Moonshine, tears, and whiskey fights turned forever into one wild night. The Lord, we sure made a mess of the parts with beer, brats, and broken hearts. Now the bride's back home with her kinfolk mad. The groom's in jail with his new best man. What started with the rings and a promise true ended with blood on a barbecue. Next day the papers had quite the spread. Brawl at the wedding, the headline read. Pickers showed the whole town, their fists in the air and gravy and hair. And if you ask me what went wrong, I'll tell you plain this old song. When you mix moonshine with family pride, there's no way peace will stay inside. Beer, brats, and broken hearts threw that wicked clean apart. No rice was thrown, no honeymoon, just a barroom brawl neath the wedding moon. The love song shattered, fell off the charts with beer, brats, and broken hearts. Yeah, toast to love turned into scars, thanks to beer, brats, and broken hearts. The preacher stood tall with his Bible in hand. The bride wore lace, the groom wore his best tan. The church was packed, the choir sang sweet. Folks fanned themselves in the August heat. But whispers roll like thunder near, a secret no one wanted to hear. And when the vows came round to say, the truth just couldn't stay away. Kissing cousins at the altar, love turned scandal, pride turned falter. Yes, and screams filled the room as the bride ran off and the groom met totally fell apart, broke a family clean in two hearts. When the preacher cried out, "Lord, why bother?" Kissing cousins at the altar. Uncle Earl stood up with a red-hot face, said that boys are kin, it's a family disgrace. Aunt May fainted, the fiddler quit. Grandma shouted, "I knew it, I knew it." The best man swore, the bridesmaids cried. The groom just stammered and tried to hide, but the bride's mama screamed, "It's true," and the whole town knew before they said "I do." Kissing cousins at the altar, wedding bells turned into slaughter. Hymns got drowned by shame and blame. Two families swore they'd never be the same. From the pulpit down to the back church hall, shockwaves shook through one and all. When forever love took a hard-cold halter, kissing cousins at the altar. Now the paper's printed, front page bold, a love forbidden, a tale retold. What was whispered down by the creek got shouted loud in one heartbeat. The bride's veil fell as she dropped her ring. The groom ran out, the choir didn't sing. The preacher bowed with a heavy sigh, said some truth just won't pass by. And in that little church on that fateful day, hearts undone and tears ran hotter. Where forever was meant to start, they buried love in a broken heart. And the bells rang out with a lonesome sound, while the whole town talked for miles around. A vow undone, a love turned darker, kissing cousins at the altar. Yeah, some secrets don't stay undercover. Kinfolk fall in love with each other. Church bell rang, the crowd stood tall, bride in white lace, tears about to fall. Groom stood nervous, sweat on his brow, promised forever, but he's broke right now. The preacher said, do you take her hand? When a banker rose up in the wedding band, holding papers high with a devilish grin, said, boy, your bills are due and they're moving in. Till death do us part, it's a heavy chain. Love can't survive when it's drowning in pain. Credit cards, loans, and a broken down car. Dreams don't stretch when the payments go far. It ain't sickness, it ain't death, it's a broken heart, standing at the altar till death do us part. The bride gasped loud, dropped her bouquet. Mama fainted in the second row that day. The groom stammered, honey, I meant to say I owe a little more than my next week's pay. The repo man backed up his tow truck outside, dragging off the groom's rusted old rag. And the preacher shook his head, closed his book, said, son, I reckon love needs more than love. Till death do us part, it's a burden vow. You can't buy love, but it costs somehow. The rings were gold, but the bills hit harder. Love don't bloom when the soil gets harder. Not sickness, not death, but a credit scar. It was death that tore their forever apart. The bride cried out, why didn't you say that visa bill would haunt our day? He bowed his head, said, I meant to start, but I never thought death would tear us apart. The crowd walked out, whispers filled the air, a love story broken by a banker's glare. And down that aisle where they should have kissed echoed a vow that would never exist. Till death do us part, oh, the saddest truth. A dream burned down in the prime of youth. It wasn't lies or cheating hearts, it was bills and burdens tearing love apart. Not sickness, not death, just a broke man's start, standing at the altar till death do us part. Yeah, the vows were sweet, but the math was cruel. When love meant money, love played the fool. Sun was shining, sky so blue, barn doors open, we said I do. Hay bales stacked, the fiddler played, but the rain clouds gathered and the ground betrayed. One slip of a boot, a spill of the punch, down went the bride with a whole bunch. The groom tried to help, but he lost his stance, and soon we all fell into a muddy dance. Mud pies and matrimony, laughter and chaos and harmony. The bride's dress torn, the groom's boots lost, we wrestled and splashed at a muddy cost. Got messy, rings went astray, love got buried in the clay. Mud pies and matrimony, best day ever or pure calamity. Uncle Joe slipped into the muck, Grandma slid past with a sideways chuck. Bridesmaids tumbled, holding their hats, dogs jumped in and scared the cats. The flower girl planted a pie in your face, Cousin Earl's suit looked like a swampy disgrace. By the time the preacher got his boots wet, the whole darn wedding was a soggy threat. Mud pies and matrimony, laughter and chaos and harmony. Tables toppled, the cake went down, everyone was sliding all over town. Vows Vows got messy, rings went astray, love got buried in the clay. Mud pies and matrimony, best day ever or pure calamity. They say rain on a wedding is lucky, sure, but mud and sweat, that's a rodeo tour. Still hands entwined, hearts in the grind, we'll remember this chaos for all time. By sunset the barnyard looked like a swamp. We laughed and hugged and drank from a tromp. The dogs rolled in and the chickens crowed. Our muddy footprints marked the road. And though our wedding was wild and torn, our love stood strong at the break of dawn. Mud pies and matrimony, bet us in love in perfect harmony. Through mud and mess we found our way. Forever starts in the mud today. Rings may be dirty, boots gone astray, but we wouldn't have it any other way. Mud pies and matrimony, a muddy, messy, perfect calamity. So grab your boots and hold on tight. Love's a mess, but it feels just right. Sunshine poured on a perfect day, bride and white groom ready to say I do. The preacher smiled, the vows were sweet, the band played fiddle and a banjo beat. The trouble was lurking where no one could see, in the corner of the barn by the old oak tree. A feathery fiend with a gleam in its eye was plotting a theft that would make us all cry. The chicken ran off with the cake, feathers and frosting in its wake. The bride yelled, the groom slipped in the mud, and the guests all watched in total bewildered dud. From spilled drinks to hearts that ache, nothing went right when the chicken ran off with the cake. Grandma fainted, Aunt May screamed, her ring flew off, and the fiddler teared up his strings. Uncle Joe grabbed a chair to give chase, but tripped on the hay, fell flat on his face. The flower girl tried to save the day, but slipped and slid in the whipped cream fray. The groom grabbed his boots, the bride grabbed her veil off. Chickens and pies danced across the trail. The chicken ran off with the cake, feathers and frosting in its wake. Cousin Earl tripped, spilled his sweet tea, and the preacher shouted, Lord mercy me. From spilled drinks to hearts that ache, nothing went right when the chicken ran off with the cake. They say love conquers all, but here's the truth. Even vows can't survive barnyard sleuths. When a bird with wings and a sugar-high dream turns your wedding into a whipped cream stream. By sunset, the barn smelled of feathers and pie. The guests all laughed till the tears filled their eyes. Though the cake was gone and chaos reigned, the bride and groom held hands through the barnyard terrain. Love survived in the mud mess, even with chickens causing distress. The chicken ran off with the cake, but we all survived the barnyard quake. Rings still sparkle, vows still true, even when disaster flew right through. From spilled drinks to hearts that ache, we'll never forget when the chicken ran off with the cake. So raise your glasses, toast with cheer, to love, to laughter, and barnyard fear. The chicken may win, but we still partake in the memories made when it stole the cake. The church bell rang, we all piled in. The sun beat down on my new Sunday grin. Boots on the pews, hats in the air. Thought we were ready, thought we were prepared. But right from the start, the chaos begun. Uncle Joe spilled his sweet tea on someone. The bride tripped over a hay bale stack, and the groom got hit with a frisbee pack. Redneck wreck, we all feel it today. Wish we'd stayed home and just drank our sweet tea away. The cake's on the floor, the dogs in the band, and no one's sure who was holding whose hand. Redneck wreck, Lord, what a sight. This wedding's a mess from morning to night. Grandma yelled at the fiddle player's tune while the goat escaped and ran through the saloon. The bridesmaids cried, the cousins fought, someone borrowed the groom's truck and forgot. The preacher's hat blew off in the wind, the best man got tangled with Ed Linder's kin. And the whole town shook its head in despair, thinking we should have never come here. Redneck Red, the kind that fights for spilled moonshine, the wild hay fights, the punch bowl's gone, the fire's too near, and everyone's wondering why they came here. Redneck Red, from the start to the end, this wedding's a story no one can defend. We all said we'd never forget this day, but not in the way anyone would pray. With mud, mayhem, and a runaway pig, love's supposed to shine, but it's dancing too big. By sunset, the barn looked like a war zone. Cake smashed, chairs toppled, and the dog stole the phone. The bride and groom just sighed and sat, covered in frost and hay and all of that. We laughed and cried, but truth be told, the memories made were chaotic gold. Redneck Red will remember it all, the barn, the chaos, the big wedding brawl. Love survived, though sanity fled. We came for the vows, but stayed for the dread. Redneck Red, a tale to retell, a hillbilly wedding gone sideways as well. So here's to the day that none should forget, a perfect disaster of redneck regret. So keen, the preacher smiled, the pastor said go. Go, but Hank had plans no one could know. He revved his tractor loud and proud. Dust and hay kicked up like a cloud. The guests all froze, the kids all squealed as Hank's big machine approached the field. Hank's tractor versed the wedding arch, love and horsepower collided hard. The bride screamed, the groom jumped back, flowers flew and the fence went crack. Boughs got buried in the dust and bark when Hank's tractor met the wedding arch. Grandma yelled, boy, slow it down, while Uncle Joe fell flat on the ground. The flower girl tripped on a stray bell. The ring flew off and hit the pail. Hank swung wide with a devilish grin. The arch leaned forward, ready to spin. The cake was trembling on a table near. Everyone prayed it wouldn't disappear. Hank's tractor versed the wedding arch. Chaos sparked like a lightning march. Bouquet went flying, hay in the air. Cows ran off like they didn't care. Love was tested in that muddy park when Hank's tractor met the wedding arch. Some say romance is gentle and sweet, but in our town it comes with a C. The seat on the tractor engine roaring loud, where love and disaster gather a crowd. By the time Hank stopped, the barn was a mess. Bridesmaids tangled in a floral dress. The arch leaned sideways, the guests wiped tears. The groom hugged the bride despite the fears. Though heavy machinery crashed our dreams, love still shone through the tractor beams. Hank's tractor versed the wedding arch, a tale of love gone off the charts. Through mud, flowers, and fences bent, we still found a love that's heaven sent. So raise your glasses, let's make our mark. Remember Hank's tractor and the wedding arch. Yeah, in this little town where chaos blooms, even tractors find their way into the honeymoon. Sun hid behind dark clouds above. The barnyard glimmered with fear and love. The bride clutched her bouquet, eyes wide. The groom gripped his vow, standing by her side. The preacher began, do you take this hand? The thunder rolled across the land. The lightning struck the chapel spire tall, and everyone jumped, one and all. Lightning strikes at the chapel, nature and drama hit the saddle. The rain came down, the wind whipped fast, turned our wedding day into a thunder blast. Vows got drowned and hats took flight, chaos ruled our wedding night. Lightning strikes at the chapel, love and disaster became a battle. The flower girl screamed as hay bales rolled, Cousin Joe slipped in the muddy fold. The fiddler's bow snapped, the choir ran, and Grandma faded into Uncle Dan. The groom tried to shield his bride with care, but lightning flashed right through the air. The cake teetered, the punch bowl tipped, and every guest was thoroughly whipped. Lightning strikes at the chapel, nature and drama hit the saddle. Streamers tangled mud in our shoes, everyone caught in the stormy blues. Vows got drowned and hats took flight, chaos ruled our wedding night. Lightning strikes at the chapel, love and disaster became a battle. Lightning strikes at the chapel, nature and drama hit the saddle. Though the storm tried to steal our vows, love endured and we're laughing now. Vows got drowned and hats took flight, chaos ruled our wedding night. Lightning strikes at the chapel, love and disaster became a battle. The flower girl screamed as hay bales rolled, Cousin Joe slipped in the muddy fold. The fiddler's bow snapped, the choir ran, and Grandma fainted into Uncle Dan. The groom tried to shield his bride with care, but lightning flashed right through the air. The cake teetered, the punch bowl tipped, and every guest was thoroughly whipped. The battle. Some say rain is lucky, but thunder's a curse. Add lightning to love, it only gets worse. Still we held hands, though soaked to the bone, in the wildest wedding this town has known. By sunset the storm had finally passed, barn roof leaky, but love held fast. The bride's veil torn, groom's hair fried, but they lay laughed together side by side. Though the day was soaked and disaster struck, their hearts stayed warm, still full of luck. Love. Lightning strikes at the chapel, nature and drama hit the saddle. Though the storm tried to steal our vows, love endured and we're laughing now. Vows got drowned and hats took flight, chaos ruled our wedding night. Lightning strikes at the chapel, but together we survived the battle. So raise your glasses to storms we've met, and the love that lasts despite the threat.